Hey everyone, welcome back to Speak Better English, the podcast that helps you break through the barriers to fluency and become a confident English speaker. I'm Emma.
And I'm Jake. Today's episode addresses one of the most frustrating problems English learners face. Why'd I understand English but I still can't speak it? If that sounds like you, don't worry, you're not alone.
Yes, this is super common. You might watch English movies, understand YouTube videos, maybe even read English articles. But when it's time to talk, your mind just freezes.
Exactly. It's like the words are there, but you just can't get them out. And that can feel incredibly demotivating. You feel like, I've been learning for years, so why can't I speak yet?
Totally. And the worst part is, many learners blame themselves. They think they're just not good at languages.
But that's not true at all. It's not about talent, it's about the kind of practice you're doing.
So Jake, let's really break this down. Why do so many people understand English well, but struggle to speak it?
It comes down to a major difference between passive and active skills. Listening and reading are passive, you're receiving information. Speaking and writing are active, you're producing it. Most learners spend years improving their passive skills, but their active skills get left behind.
That's such a great point. When I think about language classes I took, we spent way more time on reading comprehension than speaking.
Right? It's a common pattern. Traditional classrooms emphasize grammar and vocabulary quizzes, reading paragraphs, listening to audio clips, but very little speaking practice. So you end up with a huge vocabulary stored in your brain, but no experience accessing it in real time.
It's like building a huge library and never learning how to find the right book.
Exactly. And real-time speaking requires you to find that book fast, within seconds. If you've never practiced that speed, your brain panics.
And I guess it makes sense that the more pressure there is, like in a live conversation, the harder it becomes.
Yes, performance anxiety kicks in, and your brain freezes. That's why so many learners say, I know what I want to say, but I just can't say it.
So, you mentioned this idea of imbalance earlier, between input and output. Let's dig into that.
Sure, think of your language brain as a system. Input goes in, listening, reading, and output comes out, speaking, writing. If you're constantly feeding input without output, it's like filling a tank that never gets used.
Or like learning to play music by only listening to songs, but never touching the instrument.
Exactly. You feel like you're learning, and you are, in some ways, but the skills don't transfer. You might be able to understand a native speaker, but you'll freeze when asked a simple question like, what do you do?
That's so true. I've seen learners who can quote complex movie lines, but they stumble over introducing themselves.
And here's the kicker. They feel worse the more they understand but can't speak. Because now they're aware of the gap.
That creates frustration, maybe even shame.
Yes, and that frustration leads many to quit or to think, I'm just not good at this.
So what's the solution here? How do learners bring output into the mix if they don't have speaking partners?
Great question. That brings us to our next segment.
Okay, before we talk solutions, I want to ask about fear. Because even when learners have a chance to speak, they often don't. Why?
Fear is a major factor. The fear of making mistakes. The fear of being judged. The fear of sounding stupid. And these fears are deeply rooted in school experiences or social pressure.
I've seen students who would rather say nothing than risk being wrong.
Yes. The problem is, if you wait until you're perfect, you'll never speak. Fluency is messy. Mistakes are essential. Think about how toddlers learn to speak. They mess up constantly, but nobody laughs at them. They learn by doing.
So adults need to adopt the same mindset.
Exactly. We need to create safe zones for practice, talking to yourself, journaling, recording your voice. Low-stakes speaking helps build confidence over time.
Let's talk about building confidence. What are small steps learners can take?
Start with yourself. Literally, speak your thoughts out loud. Describe what you're doing. I'm making tea. I have a meeting in 10 minutes. Use short, simple sentences.
What about recording?
Great idea. Use voice memos on your phone. Give yourself a daily topic, what I ate today, my favorite movie, and talk for 1 minute. Then listen back. You'll hear your progress over time.
That sounds super manageable.
It is. The key is repetition. The more your brain hears your voice speaking English, the more it becomes normal.
Now let's give listeners a practical daily speaking routine.
Sure, try this. Morning, 5 minutes. Describe your plan for the day out loud. Midday, 5 minutes. Shadow 5 sentences from a podcast or YouTube video. Evening, 5 minutes. Record a voice note about how your day went.
Just 15 minutes total?
Yes, but done consistently, that's 1 hour and 45 minutes a week of active speaking practice. Most learners don't even get that in a full class.
And I guess this helps train both your mouth and your brain.
Exactly. It creates what I call verbal muscle memory.
Before we close, let's revisit mindset. What's the biggest belief shift learners need?
You don't need to know everything to speak. You just need to use what you already know. Fluency is not about being perfect, it's about being comfortable using your current level.
That's powerful. Use what you have. Don't wait.
Exactly. If you can say 10 things confidently, say them. Add more over time. Build confidence through action, not theory.
So to everyone listening, if you understand English but can't speak it yet, you're not failing. You're just stuck in input mode. And the fix is simple. Start speaking.
Yes. Speak every day. Make mistakes. Build habits. And trust that your fluency will follow.
If this episode helped you, hit follow, share it with a friend, and let us know. What small speaking habit will you start today?
Thanks for joining us on Speak Better English. Keep practicing, keep speaking, and we'll see you in the next one.